All right. Welcome to my stream. It's been a while since I streamed, so in this video, or stream, I'm going to be working on a bug fix for this library Purify that I've been using for a while. So yeah, a couple of weeks, actually last week, I encountered a bug while using this library, and I will go through what the bug is. But this video really is trying to fix it. And before I go on, let me just talk a little bit about this library. So, Purify-ts is a functional programming library. Basically, it allows you to do some things that you would do if you were like in a functional language like Haskell and should I want actually Rust as well in terms of like type safety and a bunch of primitives. So it exposes a some specific like types and functions which are kind of like monads. So there is the maybe, if you're familiar with things like optional and all that, so that's what maybe is. I will do an actual like maybe YouTube video on these concepts, but this is focusing on just solving this problem and being chill before we go into the new year. So yeah, so the bug description really is the library exposes, so there is a type called either, which can resolve to either a left or a right type, and there is either async, which is an asynchronous way of running some operations and either handling a left or a right. Typically, the left value is usually used as like an error, and the right value is like the actual value you want. This doesn't give a good example, but so looking at this actually, let me just do oops, is it called sandbox? Uh, Actually no. I think I will just do npm playground. Right. Yeah, this guy. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's just an easy way for me to play around. So I'm going to copy this. Oops. Copied the wrong thing. I'm just wait, what? Copy, paste. Okay. And I'm going to just try and like reproduce the code in the bug report. Oh yeah, I didn't. So because RunKit doesn't support like TypeScript or is it ESM modules, so I'm just going to use require. So I need to require the either async constructor type. So the name of the library is Purify-ts. Right. And so if I run this now, okay. So walking through the code, right? I just have a function, which is an async function, right? And it returns the value. It just is, it's kind of like an identity function. So it takes a value, returns the value. This doesn't really matter. What matters with the bug is, so typically when you want to generate an either async type, so like we can see result, just to make it clearer. So here, this takes an async function and runs a particular computation on it. And typically what you want to do here is like your normal, like let's say you have a DB, right? So you can do something like DB select, sorry, you need to return the type, right? So you can say, so like select from table, blah, 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 standard SQL stuff, and you return this type, right? This works fine. And you might be asking, so why exactly are you using either async? Well, the reason why either async is really good is it actually forces you to undo the result of this await, right? Because now the value of result is an either async and not what you get from the DB. And so to unwrap that value, you need to do things like do a case of, where you undo either the left and the right, which is like the error or if it's the actual value, right? And so for example, let me just return, this is I can say my value. All right. Cool. Now, if I run this, you notice that my value is logged out, right? But if I, wrong thing. But if I comment out the throw error, notice that the error is logged, and which is basically the left side or the right side for the correct value. So now, also, this throw error here becomes really useful when you define different types. So like I'll talk about I'll create a video. I'll create a separate video for that, or maybe it might just be a Twitter post. But basically, throw error allows you to specify the types, and so Typescript would actually throw will like have a compiler error if you are throwing a type that is not like defined or known, right? And I use this a lot because then my map left function can now like handle different types of errors, and for unknown errors I can handle that specially, right? So now back to the actual bug. So the way it works is when focusing on map left here. So map left itself okay. So map left is a way for you to take the error, transform it into something else, right? And return that to be subsequently used like down the line. And so ideally I could do, so this is like, it gets the error object, right? So I could, for example, maybe return like a new error, and maybe I call this wrapped error, right? I mean, for a lack of what exactly, maybe let me just do message, right? Right. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking whatever error the like that was in the either async left side, right? And I'm saying wrap, right? So if you see, our previous log was just the original error. Now if I run this, it's the wrapped error. Yeah, wrapped error, right? That's fine. Now, the way this works is you can as well pass an async type here and still run this. and it works, which is good. I mean, if there's a map left, there's also a, so I can as well have a map which will, I can as well have a map function which will act on the value itself, right? So I can transform the value and return it. And the idea is, if my original operation didn't throw an error, right, this would be run. But if the initial one threw an error, this would be run next, right? And so that way you can kind of like chain your operations. And it kind of resembles like the initial promise without async. But the problem with promises is it doesn't encode what type of errors. It doesn't force you to catch those errors, right? But with this, you still have some constructor around. Your program won't crash, and you can have some types around what kind of errors your program throws, right? And it's also, yeah, I mean, and it, because you need to use either case of. So if you check the docs for either async, there are a bunch of where is it? Final functions. So there is okay, no, finally actually still returns an either async. Yeah, so there are things like or default, left or default, which kind of still forces you to explicitly say, hey, I want to do this. Anyways, back to the bug itself. So there's a map and a map left, which if you pass in an async function or not, it resolves to the actual value, right? However, so from the library itself, it also exposes something called bymap. And bymap is basically saying map left, map right, right? Which is provide a function that would act on the left side and another function that would act on the right side. And technically that should also work. So this old function here, I'll just rerun this and I'll call this bymap. Bymap, right? And now this whole function here can be replaced with a bymap. Just to make it clearer, I'll move this down. Get rid of this. Right. Let me put this. Oh, okay. I probably should be doing this in like a proper ID or whatever. Okay, so the run map and run bymap, they are basically identical at this point, right? The only difference is here I'm explicitly saying map the left value, sorry, map the right value and map the left value. And the same thing here, I'm just using the bymap. And so the behavior should be the same. We should end up getting the same output, right? But running this, oh, okay. I need to explicitly say like run bymap. So it runs the second function. Right. Oh, sorry. Map left, map right. So I mixed the other. Yeah, so this is like map left, map right. And the reason why it was undefined was because in my right function here, or which was the left, right, I wasn't returning anything. And so it just propagates as undefined. What's so cool is if this was in like a this is like JS, right? But if this was like in a TypeScript ID or TypeScript, the fact that you are returning undefined here, your case of would actually reflect what the value is. So this is why like TypeScript is really good, because you would know that you are probably dealing with an undefined value down here, right? I'm just using this to kind of illustrate the point. So notice here that promise resolved, it's returning a promise and not the actual error, right? And so this is the bug, because and it's because I'm passing an async function. So for example, if I get rid of async and I run this, we get the correct thing, right? But when I include async, it resolves a promise which needs to be resolved, right? If you're not familiar with JavaScript, when you annotate a function with async, you are effectively saying that this returns a promise of any type, right? And the JavaScript runtime will undo wrapping, executing the function and wrapping the results as a promise that needs to be awaited. And it also does the await if you call await. Anyways, so this is the bug now that needs to be fixed. Luckily, the maintainer of the repo mentioned that he has a bug. He had a bug fix for the map left version, because it was also behaving in this way, right, where it wasn't resolving an async function. So I'm going to work on fixing this, right? It should be a small fix, honestly. I'm not familiar with like contributing to the library itself, so that might be the little bit. But this call is, I mean, this you're so used to Zoom calls, you call everything a call. But this stream is like just walking through, trying to clone the repo, test it out, and submit the fix. Okay, so first thing first, I need to clone this repo locally. Interestingly, we could try using code spaces. I've not used code spaces before, and I like trying new things on my streams. Let's see. But I don't know how this works, because will this create in my like personal account, or will it create in the contributing repo? Okay, you know what? There's enough new things in this video, so let me just create locally. Terminal. All right, cool. So yeah. I'll update that. Let me load that up in VS Code. Actually, oh, okay. VS Code, where are you? Oops, this guy. I'm going to increase my font so it's more clear to everyone. All right, so I guess first thing first will be, let me just run the tests, all right? Ooh, okay. I need to run all the npm install and all the okay, save exact. Cool. Where's my terminal? So Okay. And I guess I could just simply run npm run test. Do you want to install? I guess. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, so all this failed because of what? Coverage. Okay, you know what? Let me take a step back. Let's see. Does the repository have any getting started guide? Yeah, this is for using the library itself. Mm. Okay, so I don't think there's any like contribution guide, or at least I'm missing something. So let me see. Hold on. Is there? Move this down. Is there a version constraint? I mean, I don't think so. So a simple. I mean, I haven't used Vitest before, so maybe there's something about that. I'm going to try install again. Okay. Wait, what did I just npm install, please? Okay, that seems to have worked again. We clear that. And let me try running the test one more time. So it says you want to install. Yes, I said that. I mean, what if I said no? Hold on. If I said no, oh, it doesn't do anything. Hmm. Okay, so the error is that okay, let me look at yours. Unhandled error. Unable to resolve the tree. Okay. I'll manually run this myself. What's weird is there's actually a Vitest coverage, but it says C8, not V8. Oops, wrong thing. Copy. Alright, so it keeps failing because unable to resolve dependency. Okay, so I'm going to have to Google this because okay, I'll just Google that. Right, let me look at the test command again. It just says Vitest runs with coverage. Okay, so I'm going to where's I don't know which one is the best error to use because it's literally saying it can't find this. So what I think I'll start with is checking npm, right? Okay. Okay. Um, Versions. So there's this. Now, what I want to do is I want to check for C8 as well. Right? Okay, so it says C8 has moved to this. Interesting. I wonder if I wonder if they know about this. Hold on. Okay, so there's actually maybe this is a fairly recent change because this was open 3 weeks ago about updating. Oh, and I guess it's also having a similar error. Okay, but this is for C8, not V8. Okay, so Vitas to 1.1. I can imagine there would have been a lot of like changes between version 0.3 and 1.1. So, I see. So it says while reserving this, it found this, but it could not resolve this. Oh, so I think the issue is the version of Vitest as well. Hmm. Greater than 6. I'm trying to figure out what version of Node this. Interesting. Okay, so we came for one problem. We're meeting another problem. Engineering is software engineering is like this. Okay. So I'm contemplating either trying to upgrade Vitest, but it doesn't make sense to upgrade something you're not even familiar with. Right? Hold on. If I do, I think there's an, oops, there's an like npm, is it which? Or is ls, right? Okay, I think it's ls. Okay. So just to play around with this, right? So the latest version is 1.1.1. Right. So what if I change this to oops. 1.1.0, I think. Let's change this to V8 and this to okay, what was that version we were trying to install? Oh, it's also 1.1.1. Okay. And if I rerun install, I mean, that seems to have worked okay. Let me see, tests. Oh, and now the tests run. Okay. Yeah, the tests run fine. I mean, the coverage is, well, I mean, it's not bad-ish. Where's the final? Okay, these are the tests I'm looking for. Actually, I don't even care about the coverage because the coverage is on the source itself. These ones are should be excluded. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will also include this as part of like my contribution, right? I'll leave it up to the maintainer to figure that part out. So I'm closing this. I'm just curious. I want to check the library itself. Yeah, so it's a testing framework. JavaScript has so many testing frameworks. But I think, is this the one that was built with Rust? I think so. But yeah, so you can run all this. Okay, cool. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm gonna ignore all this. So let's get to coding itself. So let me just create a new branch. What's the issue number? 678. 678. Sorry, this is a fix. 67. Oops. Biomap resolving async left. Right. And so I'm just going to commit this and say quick to upgrade Purify-ts from, I think it was 0.3, oops, 0.3 to 1.1.1. Right. So that's out of the way. Now what I'm after itself is, so the either async. I'm just going to get rid of the terminal for now. So this is a lot of TypeScript. I think I saw a tweet yesterday where someone was saying that the TypeScript you write for libraries is different from the TypeScript you write for an app, right? Like, I mean, well, I've seen some apps with crazy TypeScript, but it's just interesting how when you go through a libraries, you see go through a library, you see a bunch of like types and weird definitions. But this is the biomap I'm looking for. And as you can see, it's defined as like a generic function that takes an L2 and R2 type and takes in two functions. The first function will take a value that is of the left type and returns L2. The second function takes a value that is of the right type and returns R2. Mind you, L and R are generic types defined on the parent like object or anything that implements this, right? And it will return a new either async type with the left side awaited and the right side awaited. So this is where I kind of realized it's a bug, because if the type should be awaited, it means if L2 is a promise, then it should return the content of that promise, right? Which it clearly didn't from the demo I did in the beginning. So what I'm going to do is, okay, you know what? Hold on. Yeah, okay, so this is the actual implementation. All right, cool. So this is the implementation by map. Yeah. Okay, so what does this do? It creates a new either async. I think one major issue with this approach is in terms of performance, right? Ultimately, it makes your code more robust in terms of how you handle types and errors and async. But there's so many functions and async behind the scene, right? Which might not be really good for like performance. I mean, technically, depending on what you're building, you might want to like change your performance required parts of your app to kind of get rid of a bunch of these things. But anyways, it creates a new async and it creates a new async. It runs the current what's it called? The current either async for its values. Then it lifts. Okay, so it lifts the result. Okay, okay. So run returns an either, which is the non-async version. And so we just lift that value into the new async that we are creating from this function. Right. Okay. So what we want here, yeah. So I think that this is where the bug is, because let me go back to here. Right. So the either variant doesn't deal with anything that is async or promise, right? And so it's expecting. So if you check by map, where's by map? Yeah. So we check by map, it just, I mean, this is the functional definition. You could look at that. But if you look at the TypeScript definition as well, right? It takes the left value. So it takes a function that just takes the left value or right value and just returns them. It doesn't await the types for like the types, whatever it is that those map functions return. And I think that's where the bug is. Although what I find interesting is when I tested this. Okay, hold on. Let me just return, because I only noticed it for the left value. Oops. I should do this in my IDE because all my shortcuts are not working. So let's just say okay. Yeah. Just gonna click around. So let me do how did you do last time? I think it's like wrapped value. Right. Plus just the value. All right. Copy this and use it here as well. And I'll just comment this out. So I just want to confirm that if I change the map functions to async and async functions, and I make the actual either async function return a value and not throw an error, right? So I'm expecting, well, let's just see what it brings this time. Okay, so this works, right? Because it's obviously unwrapping the it's awaiting the result of my async, right? And that might be the root of all this. Because technically, if I'm passing it into the by map, right, it means that either is also awaiting, right? So let me check the type for either. So either, where's by map? By map. So it just does L2 R2, right? And actually, I should be able to click from here to there. Oh yeah. Do, 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 do. Oh, this is quite interesting. So I think the way, oh, okay. Well, this is kind of going into how it's defining the left and right abstraction. But basically, if there's a left value, it creates a left type. And if there's a right value, I believe it creates a right type as well. I'm trying to bring out the outline. Yes. Okay. So there's an either type. There's an either type ref. There's an wait. There's a what? There is what's this? This is just an object. Okay, I don't know what that is. But there's a right class. There's a left class, right? So on the right class, if I want to check the bimap, so it just does right, takes hold on. Okay, it ignores the left argument, calls the right value, passes in this value, and returns right. So what does right do? Okay, it just returns a new right type. Okay, I'm going to take this step by step, right? So what I'll do is I'll start with a test quickly, right? This is why isn't there a isn't there like a Vitest extension? There is. This is like 25. I want to see if I can just run like run the specific instance of the test. Where is my test now? Oh yes, I can. Sweet. I guess that's success, right? Okay. So what this does is it does so this resolves. Okay, this is kind of like the test I just wrote, right? Creates a new either that resolves a value, a promise, right? And then it does a bimap that just maps left or right. And the idea is if it's a what's it called? If it's a right value, like the actual value, which is 5, then this either async gets changed to the right. And for this, it's left. And so here it's x. Okay, so it does run to equal. Oh, and it's just comparing it to the either value. That's interesting. Hold on. So what does run do? All right. Let's see. No, not you. Not you. Not you. I need the actual implementation of run. Right. Okay. So, okay. So if there's a right value, run awaits. This is weird. Run awaits the result of. Oh, okay. Okay, this is just like a catch that does left, right? Which is why this library is really good, because I really wish there was a way you can specify. Anyways, you should handle that on your own, because here it's just saying if there's any error, catch left, but that's not the problem. I think this is what we're looking at. So run promise is just passed in here. Wow. So, oh, okay. So the constructor takes run promise, right? And run will call that, returning a write. Oh, okay. Okay. So everyone calls run promise. Run promise is this function that we pass into the constructor. Run promise. Okay, so 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 what I would want to check is if I don't like types. I mean, I don't like interfaces because I would really, I'm not, yeah, okay. This is what I want to see. So either async. Okay, so what this does is it calls run, which will run the constructor of this particular either async type, right? And we saw there that it awaits the result of that type, right? Ah, okay. So could that actually be? So I think that's the problem then, right? Because if we check run, right, this awaits the promise. Yeah, this awaits the promise, and when an error is caught, it just wraps that in left, right? And if we look at this test here, I can see that promise dot so this returns a promise, but this throws, and it's not an async function. Okay, that's why. Ah, okay, okay. So I think I've figured out where the issue is. The issue is actually in this run function. It needs to await. Actually, I mean, let's just test it out, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a third one, right? Yeah, I'm going to call this either, no, not, let me just fold this up for now. Not from promise, please. So the difference is, as opposed to just throwing this, what if I return promise not result reject, right? Then I can close this. And I can put this here. Right. Now, I guess if you're not familiar with like TypeScript and all that, what I did here, where I'm returning a promise reject, is the same thing as doing async and true, right? I mean, I guess I could just do this to be clear, right? And so what I want to do is I expect this third one to also resolve. So I guess the thing is I don't want. I mean, the bimap is supposed to return an either async with the awaited L2 and R2 values, right? So what that means is, or what I need to test actually. Yeah. So if it returns an either async with the awaited value, it means the internal values should be the awaited value, right? Actually, I'm testing the wrong thing, right? Because yeah, I'm testing the wrong thing. Okay. What I want to test is, yeah, if this true or not, that doesn't really matter. What I want to test is this. So okay, to make my tests cleaner, right? I'm just going to get rid of all this, right? And what if I just create um yeah, I'm just going to create an async variant, right? Call this async. All right. So yeah, this is easier. So what I want to test is that if the bimap values are async, it returns the actual value in there. And if I run this now, okay, so it's failing with no error message. I mean, okay, you know what? I'll just run it in the terminal. I think it's this, right? Right. So, all right, we've been able to reproduce it through a test. So we're expecting left, right? I mean, um, oh, I'm just seeing comments. Thank you, Neighbor Okada. Talabi, yeah, I didn't notice when you left that message. But yeah, I'm assuming you meant the async test. Right. Close. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I've been able to reproduce this now as the left. Now it's, how do we fix this? Right? I mean left. Oh gosh. So how do we fix this? The easiest way to fix this, I think it's, I mean, I think the easiest way to fix this will be to understand how the right is being resolved, right? Right. Because if the right value is a promise and it's, hold on. Yeah, if the right value is a promise, right, is a function that returns a promise and it ends up being resolved as a right type with the actual value, then that might give us a hint into what we need to await, right? And yeah, so if you notice for map left, it tries to await the promise and then it throws an awaited result. So same thing here. Um, here we are awaiting run. Okay, just testing it out, right? If I go to run, right? And what if I just did awaited E? Like when run catches something. No, that's not it, right? So okay, I think the that's weird because the bimap function itself is just acting directly on the like it's passing the functions indirectly. I would have said, oh, we should update bimap for the either type to actually um to actually await the results, but that would be wrong because either doesn't really deal with any async code, right? Actually, what does lift either do? No, not the interface. Oh, um, let me just search. Oh, okay. Maybe this is it. Okay, finally. All right. So, or maybe not. But what this does is if either is right, it extracts the value and um, wraps it in a promise. That's interesting. It wraps it in a promise, right? But if it is not a right function, it just throws this, right? Yeah. Um so if it throws that, where is it again? I'm trying to find the bimap. Okay. So what this does, oh, okay, so this just throws, and then this, oh, okay. So wait, does that mean I could do this? Ah, sorry, await. Oh, I can't await here. Um, oh, I see. So why don't I just return promise the reject, right? So that way everything gets. Let me see. Yeah, async reject should also unwrap. But anyways, so as opposed to here, we're returning a promise. So you see, this is JavaScript. TypeScript is just like there's no types. Like there's no types. TypeScript is just sugar on types, right? Because it doesn't make sense for me to return a promise here and then just true when this is not an async function, right? And there must be a reason why, honestly. But it's good there are tests, right? So I'm just going to run my tests and see what breaks. This is a test-driven development. Test-driven development. Yeah, so it's still failing, right? And yeah, still failing for the wrong promise. Okay, so that's one change. That's one change that we've done that is not doing anything. Interestingly, none of the other tests fail, which I assume should be the same behavior. Okay, so what's happening here is bimap applies a function to the left and the right. And because I mean, I thought I had it because I was like, okay, so both functions are promises, right? In my test, right? And the only difference in how they are handled is lift either. And what lift either does is it returns a promise, right? And this actually, now that I'm looking at the promise definition, excuse me, should drink some water. Okay, now that I'm looking at the promise type, okay, sorry, I'll just check it. Okay, yeah, promise resolves the promise. Reject, sorry, resolved resolves the awaited value. That might just be the like the missing link. While reject doesn't. I mean, hold on. If I await this and I rerun the test, yeah, it doesn't because what I'm thinking right now is as opposed to lifting either. Actually, let me see the bug fix that was created for this guy, right? Oh yeah, all they just did was he awaited um Fe, and I think that's what we saw here, right? Yeah, just added this awaited piece here. I mean, which makes sense because run promise will run if it's like left or right. And if there's an error there, and so I'm thinking, um, yeah, that won't work. So okay, yeah, I think what I'm thinking is I might as well just re rerun this. right? Because I mean, if um if we are wait, oh yeah, so awaiting run will throw, and that will be caught, right? So that's not the problem. The problem is actually this map itself. But that's why I find so hard, right? Because when we run this and we get values and we apply by map functions on them and we want to lift those values in by simply doing resolve, that works. Um, but here, let me see, what's the return type for this? Oh, it just says either async value. What's an either async value? Oh, it's just a promise like object for write. I'm sorry, here's the initial code. Okay. So if this always works, because it resolves the value that is being, the promise that is being returned. This is also a promise. Okay, hold on. What if I do this? Right? Wait, what? So type promise awaited. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Um, okay. You know what? Let's go the debugger route, because I think at this point this shouldn't take that long. Okay. So um I'm thinking throwing returning a promise here and putting an await here should help the left side be propagated out. Oh, wait a minute. No, that won't work. Yeah, that won't work. Okay. Because I'm just rejecting a promise. A promise. Yeah. Okay, this gets interesting. Because the promise itself could also get rejected, right? Um okay, I think I get what the issue is here. So this won't work. Right. The the alternative would be to um let like the runtime handle it, right? Which, yeah, if I make this async, I'll need to change that type. Right. So what I'm thinking is, hold on. So this was true, right? Right. So if we throw this, run the test. Yeah. So if we throw this value, um Let me go back to this. Let's do debug. Right. Oh, yeah, I think I need it at the next step. My screen is okay. So oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's saying either is right, which is, am I running the right test? Okay, I mean, I guess yes, technically. Okay, just sorry, keep playing. Okay, cool. So this is the next one which I need to go over. Right. So here, either is left with an empty string. That's weird. I mean, unless does the debugger resolve promises? Because now it's saying that it's left because I threw this guy. I mean, I threw this empty string here, right? So let me see. All right, f is my async function, which is cool. Okay, so now see. Now I know it's a left. The value is a promise. Okay, yeah, because okay, so yeah. So when I threw here, it automatically changed this either async to hold a left error, which is like the thrown empty string. But after it went into the by map, which entered the left by map, right? Because this returns a promise, this becomes a promise. And so now that I'm inside oh, the debugger moves everything. Interesting. Now that I'm inside lift either, which is this, right? Either is now a left with the result of that, right? And so we are saying either is right, this would fail, right? And now it comes here. What does extract do? Hold on. Okay, extract just returns left or right. Let me see. I'm just going to check how many places extract. Ooh, extract is used a lot. Oh, it just returns the value if it's left or right. Okay. So what would really be good here would be if I could await this. Problem is I can't await this, right? Because this is the promise. Resolve helps us await. I think that's why the right side works. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the end, of course. Messed up with the whole thing. Okay. So if I can't await here, right? What happens inside my by map? I mean, I'm awaiting here, right? Let me remove this debug stop checkpoint. So let's just do results, right? Let's say return results. Right. Result can be any. Of course, it can be any. Oh, because there's a lot of as any. What the? think it would be better if this was like unknown, right? Yeah, even lifted as description uses unknown. Yeah. Anyways. Mm. So I just need this stop point. I'm going to save this. I'm going to rerun this one more time. No, not the. I need to run debug style. Okay, so I'm stopping here. This is the first part of the test. Fine, go on. Wait, what? No. Why did it end? Okay, let's just do it there and run again. I mean, yeah. So why did? Okay, I'm confused because it seems to just fail on the second instance, right? Yeah. Mm. Yeah, either right. Oh, of course, it fails. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the reason why it fails is because our weight would throw, right? And hold on, what happens if I do this? Um, let me try it with exceptions. Okay, cool. Finally, and mhm, mhm, mhm. So it says, "Oh, exception has been thrown." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Continue. Not that. That's not the exception I'm interested in. Aha, this is the exception I'm interested in. Okay, so this throws. Yeah, so the exception thrown here is a promise, right? What am I looking for? No, not global. Uh, okay, hold on. So this exception has thrown and is a promise, right? Okay. So what I need. Yeah, 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 I know about that. That's the whole thing is over. Cool. So what I'm thinking is here I should do this. Ah, what the? Of course. No, just true. So this is what I'm thinking will be because here now, by throwing the awaited result, it means that the left hand side will keep propagating, right? So let me run this. Yeah, the tests are passing now. Yeah, let me clear the old tests and just run all tests. Yeah, everything is green now. That was unnecessarily long. Okay, I guess that was it, right? That was it. That was it. Okay, so what did I do? Recap. So what I did was, yeah, this doesn't help. So what I did was previously it just returned by lifting the value out, applying the bimap on the inner either, right, and lifting that into an either async and returning it. However, the lift either function would resolve a promise and throw if not. So the problem there is if what is thrown is not, I mean, if what is thrown is a promise or anything, right, that would just be propagated out without being, without unwrapping the content, right? And so what we want is we want to unwrap the content. And so what I did was I called await so it would resolve if it's a promise or if anything is thrown. And I'm catching that and also awaiting on the result. So it can unwrap whatever value there is. Although this begs the question that what if so this is weird. But what if E also contains an exception? So this is what I mean. And let me see. So here we can see that this works, right? So what I'm saying is, let's say we have right? Let's say we have an either async 3, right? And now, what if my left side throws? I have to do this now. Right. Or whatever the. So what if my left side throws an error? So ideally, what should happen is I want to be able to run this. I want to be able to run my I want to be able to run this and still resolve left, right? And I'm afraid this won't work because if I say true, I mean let's run it, right. Let's run it. I'm going to clear this and run npm run test. It worked as expected. I guess I might have been wrong. Bro, I think so. Okay, so let's see. How would that have worked? Because here, it means the value that comes in here is, I mean, E will be a promise. And if we are awaiting the value, oh, okay. I think I know why it's going to work. Okay, okay. Yeah. Which means I could get rid of this then. So the reason why I think I know why it's going to work is, so you know what, when we throw, this whole function is wrapped in an either async like wrapper that takes a constructor value, which is run promise, right? And so eventually, when we call run, right, what run does, where's the implementation? Where's the implementation of run? Join AP run, yes. So what happens is when run is called, we await this, and then we pass the left of E. No, this wasn't what I was the run. Yeah, await promises that. Okay, so what I think would be happening, or what I thought was happening, is when we throw and we call run, um okay, hold on. Maybe that was, yeah, this is what this is what I was looking for. So what's happening here is when, so the either async is called with this constructor. Hold on, no, not this. What? No. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Hmm. Actually, hold on. I mean, I would like to actually test this because it's probably how promises are resolved. Then, I mean, that's like the explanation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some more debugger stuff, um, just to quickly resolve why this is acting that way. So ideally, like I was saying, this should be a promise, right? That would eventually be rejected because of, where is it? Because of this true. So I'm going to comment this out, and I'm going to run this with debug. Oh, I need to turn off. Okay, anyways, yeah, go to next. Then this true as well. Go to next. Then here we are throwing a promise. Okay, we're throwing the promise. Now it's been caught here. And if we can, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so I think it's fine. I think it's fine because I think what await does is, hold on, is there a promise result? Yeah, so it's rejected and with left. And I think what await does is, well, I don't know if it's, I think I probably will need to test it out just to be sure. But I think when you do await, right, and this is rejected, it throws, I mean, it, actually, I think I'm overthinking this, right? Because await should throw something, right? And I'm also throwing the result value. So this should be fine. Okay. Okay. So I think, hold on, just to be sure, stop all this. Come here. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I think I was overthinking it. What I was thinking was if a promise returned another promise, right? But here it's still a single promise. It's just rejected or not. Overthinking that. Okay, so this will, I mean, I'll just leave it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with just testing that. Um, if your promise gets, I mean, if your bimap function gets rejected, it's still left, right? Okay, cool. And I think that's it. All right, so let me check. Usually, I didn't turn on the formatter for this. So yeah, there's usually a prettier thing. Let me see. Does that change anything? Oh, it does change a lot of things. That's weird. Is it that they don't run prettier on this project? Oh no. Um. Okay. So I think, what's the change? Okay, you know what? I'm going to discard some of all this non-related stuff for now and just focus on my two files. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick commit message here. Would say, so what was the fix? Yeah, so I'll say bimap resolving async left functions. Right. And what I'm going to do is I will just go to the issue description itself and I was thinking I would just copy one of this. Okay, no, you know what? I mean, this is just the PR description. I mean, the commit description, right? So for now, I'll just say this implements a fix. I really should enable GitHub, what's it called? Copilot back on this editor. So this implements a fix for, I mean, on my Vim editor, right? This implements a fix for bimap, I guess, to await left. Should I say errors or promises returned? Actually, to await rejected promises. Yeah, so returned by the left mapping function. So in the PR description, of course I don't have permissions. What the? Okay. All right. So open source 101. I think I've been working on too many, should I say, private projects. So I'm going to come back here. All right. Clone. How do you clone? Oh, not clone. Fork. Wow. I guess I'm just going to. Yeah, I'm going to make this Purify-ts so that it's clear because I don't know why. Oh, Bash, did you write Purify or you are contributing to it? I need to be looking at my comments more. But no, I didn't write Purify. I was looking for a way I could get kind of like some type ints around errors and just manage errors. So earlier on the call, I said I was going to maybe do another video or like a tweet about some useful ways I use Purify. So it just allows me to. Honestly, I just use the word robust code, right? It helps me kind of like handle my errors in a more robust way because I don't know if you've tried to do a sync await and you need to like try catch, and then you have to catch a bunch of stuff. Ultimately, most people end up using some sort of like library for like case matching and all that stuff, right? And but then it doesn't in that scenario too, it's still like it doesn't force you to specify the types, right? And it doesn't force you to actually await sometimes. So sorry, it doesn't force you to like try catch things, right? But with this, it's more like what's the worst that could happen? You have to handle it, right? There's so many. Yeah, exactly. You just be like, why did that fail? Why did my whole program crash? Right? And you're like, oh, you could have handled it if you wrapped everything in a way that you could handle. Okay, so this is my version. Now I need to what's that thing? Yeah. I need to figure out a way to change the origin. Yeah, that's it. So how does this work again? I think you do origin. Wait, what? No, yeah, it's been a while since I actually. Origin is not a command, obviously. Origin is the reference to remote, right? So then is remote. Oh, it's not even ls, so it's like git remote. What's oh my god. Okay, so what I want to do is remote. Um, okay, first of all, I'm going to go back to master. Then I want to remote. I want to set the URL for origin to where's my new URL? Yeah, that's it. How do you get this new URL? This guy, I believe. Right? Yes. No. Okay, I'll figure out. Okay, so what that means is can I now push this? Yes, I can. Sweet. Yeah, there's a new branch. So yeah, I can. All right, this is it, right? Yeah, two commits. I updated package.log, blah blah blah. Test async by map. The same thing. Yeah, with my little fix. Can't believe I spent 1 hour plus just for this. Just for this. Okay, maybe 1 hour less because I did a lot of explaining. All right, so I, I think it's easy. I would just say resolves this issue here, right? Resolves this guy. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna copy my commit message. put that here, right? And I think the tests in there really help. But I'm going to just copy the code snippet as well. Let's just call this Typescript. Paste that here. Get rid of that. Okay, so this. Let's see. Currently, the following code, blah blah blah, da da da, will output this guy. Where is it? This. Right? This PR fixes it so that it outputs com. You just get. All right. And then it says resolves this. Da da da. Yeah, more details. This PR is output this. Okay, cool. All right. And I think with this will be the end of my. I'm just gonna see if it gets mentioned here. All right. And there you have it. I guess my final contribution before the end of the year. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's it. All right. Thanks everyone that joined. Yeah, next year I will do more streaming, more coding streaming. I know this year I did more of like gaming, streaming, and content. I hope people like that. But next year I'll try and focus more, doing more about like what I'm building, things I'm using, and yeah, things I found useful. All right. See you guys next year. Have a wonderful year ahead.